Rubber Soul by the Beatles is their sixth studio album, meaning that Ethan and I are now on week 6 of our Beatles Discog dive. And for those of you who've been keeping up with our entire series, we are now finally happening upon the run of albums that are not only considered the best Beatles albums, but the best albums of all time, period. But before I jump the gun, let's talk about Rubber Soul and where the Beatles are at this point in their career. They're still touring, but now they're just beyond fed up with the whole ordeal. But luckily, they've been spending the past year getting high. A lot. Thank you, Bob Dylan. Not only did it mellow out the heavy schedule, but it also provided them with a lot of creative inspiration. When talking about this period in the Beatles, producer George Martin said that they, instead of thinking it like a just compilation of songs, they thought of it as a whole artistic piece, and you can really hear that in this album. The Beatles aren't just singing about loving a girl and not just rock and roll covers. For the first time since Hard Day's Night, they've got all original material, and they use that to talk about more complex topics like nostalgia, promiscuous relationships, not blindly following authority. And while still talking about love, they talk about it in more nuanced ways than they ever did in their teeny boppers. Its new sound is also aided by the fact that they've got a gear upgrade, making the sound more crisp compared to past records. Some of my favorite tracks are Day Tripper, just a really excellent song, great riff, amazing lyrics. Norwegian Wood, the most Dylan-esque on this album, very folky and very cozy. It's also the first Beatles song that has a sitar, and also the first song in Western pop that has a sitar in it. Think for Yourself, George Harrison's single track on this album, has been my sleeper pick, honestly, for one of my favorite tracks. I just love the chorus. It sounds like a spy movie, like action thriller, kind of Bond-esque. And the fuzz effect on the bass guitar is amazing. It kind of reminds me of the Rolling Stones' Satisfaction. The classic In My Life is one of the most beautiful and touching songs ever written. It's just one of John's magnum opus, and Ringo keeps up his hot streak with What Goes On being another fun song on the album that adds a bounce. And then just every song on this album is a banger. Drive My Car, I'm Looking Through You, Michelle, Girl. I mean, really, I just can't stress to you enough how amazing this album is. Even the very controversial final track, Run For Your Life, which, while sounding fine instrumentally, is a bit dark lyrically, which has led some to call it the worst track on the album, which I'm kind of happy to agree with, but it still is pretty great nonetheless. And so when you hear people call the Beatles the best band ever, it's albums like this that are great evidence in support of that. And I just can't stress enough to you how great this album is and how much I adore it and this band. So 10 out of 10.